Let's say we have a struggling employee and we have to coach them to turn things around. Now, whether they have a positive or even a negative disposition or attitude, it's tough, right? So I want to leave you with one quick thought before we get into a strategy. The struggling employee knows they're struggling. It's almost equivalent to salespeople. Let's say we have a salesperson who's at 80% of goal. One of the worst things that we can do as a sales leader is to look at that employee and say, your numbers are low, we need to get them up. They know that. And I think sometimes when we start off with the obvious, and certainly the punitive obvious, guess what happens? They shrink, they shrivel up. They don't even want to participate in the conversation. So what I'd like you to think about is the struggling employee needs to change their perspective. They need to change their viewpoint. And the way you do that isn't to say, well, the glass is half empty or half full, but this just simply represents something called a self-actualization and opportunistic approach. Self-actualization is when we ask a question such as, what are you going to do to prepare for that test? What do most parents do? They tell their kid to study. The kid knows to study. What do? Do they ever hug mom and dad and say, thanks for the revelation? I didn't even think about that, Mom. No, what do they think? Oh my gosh, they're nagging me. Versus framing their response. What are you going to do to successfully prepare for that test? What are you going to do to successfully turn things around? The word opportunity is really the constructive feedback area. What are you going to do to turn things around? And assuming you're successful, what opportunities do you think that will afford you? See, if people can see that the sky is clearing, they see hope. It's a little over the top, a little theatrical, but when it's cloudy, I'm going to share this with you. It sounds corny. It's cloudy in their minds. Every day is raining, even when the sun creeps in. It's tough to turn things around. But when you ask that self-actualization question, you learn two things. One, are they willing? Two, do they even have an answer? And if they don't have an answer, say, geez, would you mind if I made a suggestion? Because I'd love to help you. People will move in a direction of positive change or turning things around, often if somebody will go with them.